Today we're going to talk about macro photography, and we're going to talk about 3 simple ways to add lighting to your macro photography that's really going to make it better. Macro lighting coming up. We just had some heavy rains here in Northern California. And so the day after the rain stopped, I like to get out to the forest area and see if I can find some wild mushrooms. And I found a ton. So let's go ahead and jump in and we'll show you some of the different lighting techniques I use when we're out photographing wild mushrooms. So this is the easiest setup you can come up with. Your camera, a macro lens, and in this case, it's a 105. It's the Z lens mounted on the Z9 Nikon. And then I have a teeny little tripod. This is my newer, it's a tiny little tripod. You don't need a lot of height, right? Because you're working on the ground, and that's one of the things that you want to try to achieve, is to make your day a little bit easier by just bringing out lighter gear. So all this is camera, lens, cable release. You gotta have a cable release or some way to fire the camera, and then you've got a small tripod. Let me show you how I set this up. We've got some evening light coming in here, and it's cutting across the tops of the mushrooms. It looks pretty cool, so let's go ahead and do a couple shots like this. So one of the things I like to start with is I bring a little small pair of pruning shears so I can cut a few of the little limbs, because sometimes when you're down to the ground, a lot of times these little grasses are gonna pop up and be out of focus in your way, right? So we're gonna clip some of those that need to be clipped. And of course you can take and move some sticks, like that stick is anchored. That might disrupt the mushroom itself, so I don't want to do that. Let's check this one back here. That's anchored, but we can clip that. So we'll clip that out of the way, and we'll clip that long piece out of the way. Sometimes a decent pair of tweezers can come in and just start moving things out of the way a little easier. But in this case, we can just kind of pull them out, decide what's going to be good for our composition. Well, we can obviously remove things later if we need to remove things in Photoshop, but in a case like this, we still got the light coming in. It looks great. So what we're gonna do is a focus stack. You've seen me do this before, but simply it's a matter of just taking maybe 80 images, 100 images with different focuses, and then we put those together in Photoshop, or in my case, I use it in Helicon software just outside of Lightroom to build it. But let's go ahead and shoot this while we still have the light, and I'll show you what this looks like. This is the time-consuming part where we just sit here. Well, while we're sitting here, I'll tell you about a couple of other things that I like to use. One of the things I like to use is these mats. You can get these plastic rubber mats. I get them at Harbor Freight. They're not very expensive, and you have something to lay on when you're out here, because remember, it just rained last night. So all the area is pretty wet and damp, and I don't want to be sitting on the ground for hours on the wet ground if I can. Although one of the things that I also do is I bring waterproof pants, because if you forget these, or if you're kind of stuck and you're kneeling around, you need to get to a different area or something, that's where I'll a lot of times just have my waterproof pants and get in there and get the shooting done the way I want it. This afternoon light's coming in. It looks really great, and I think this is going to be a pretty neat shot once it's all said and done. I don't like to disturb the mushrooms too much. I like to try to catch them naturally. I will move a couple of leaves and prune a little bit of things if I need to, some twigs. They're basically, the ones that I remove are going to be ones that are in the way of my camera. So like they would be making it out of focus or cutting down the quality of the image. So we're doing a focus stack here, so all these images are getting focus stacked out. If you'd like to learn more about my process of doing a focus stack, you can check out my videos, or I also have a book, Razor Sharp Nature Photography, that I sell exclusively on my website. You can go there and check it out, and it has a whole section on focus stacking. All right, we're done with our first shot. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna augment this a little bit, and I'll show you what I use for that. So if I'd like to improve the lighting a little bit, what I'll do is I'll bring a few little white cards. And all I've done with these cards is I've taken this is foam board, you can buy it at craft stores. I've just made a little tee like this, so you can take and set it up anywhere you want. You see the difference when you add some extra light It bounces that in. That helps when you're putting this together. And all you want to do is set up these cards so that they're bouncing light. So the light's coming in through this direction, so you want to have the reflector card bouncing that light back in. But what you don't want to do is have it in the frame. So you got to look at the frame and make sure that it's not in there. That's going to bounce a little bit of extra light. And you can make these any size you want. You know, these are fairly small because I knew I was going to be out here shooting mushrooms. Well, let's go ahead and see how close we can get this. Add a little bit of extra light without having the card being seen. So now let's do another focus stack. We still have the good sunlight. We're bouncing some of that light back in now. So let's go ahead and start another focus stack. All right, so we have a new focus stack we're doing, and it's good, of course, you focus in the front and then let the camera focus the rest of the way, and we put these together later in post. Now in this particular case, I can see a little bit of the cards in the shot, but I'm probably going to crop those out because I'd like to get them as close as possible to get that light inside of that mushroom, underneath the mushroom, if at all possible, because I think that's going to illuminate a little bit better. But this is a pretty simple way that we're working with just a camera, a tripod, cable release if we want to start the project, and of course using a focus stack. You don't have to use a focus stack. You could shoot it f/22 or something if you like, but I just don't think that it's as sharp. You know, when you really look at a shot that's done at f/22 versus a shot that's done with a focus stack, there's diffraction going on. It doesn't look as good. But in this kind of a scenario, we're setting our camera at f/4.5, which is about as sharp as this lens can be. And that's a really good way to start. And I just do the focus stack, and I don't have to worry about depth of field. The whole mushroom, everything in front of the mushroom as well as behind. So all I do is pick a focus point that's in front of the mushrooms and then let the camera do the rest of the work. So to me, I think it is more work post, obviously. You have to bring it into a software to do the focus stack, but I think it's still a pretty good way to go. So using available light is definitely the most inexpensive way to go. Let me show you the next way, which is using some LED lighting. So these are some flexible LED lights by SmallRig, and they're flexible. They got these nice little spikes on the end, so if you want to poke them into the ground, you can, which is kind of convenient and helpful, is having a little spike that you can stick into the ground. So let me set this up and give us a lot more variety of light for this image. So this one is, you have different colors on here. I think most of them, the reds, the blues, these colors are a little useless, but this is regular white, and then this is an amber. So depending on the color tone that you want, you can click through that and get that. I'm going to use white light in this particular case. Let's go and poke this in the ground, and then kind of bring our light in over to this side. So that's bringing light in kind of behind. Let's bring it even a little bit more behind. Now we've got light coming in from behind the mushrooms, and this is the direction of the light, but we're not stuck with that. We don't have to do that direction of the light. We can come over here and bring the light a little bit more of this kind of an angle. So it's coming in from behind, but in a darker part, right? So we're bringing up shadows that are from that section. Now, you can see the difference here, that it really looks pretty slick having that light come through. Now, there's different ways that you can cut down on the light and change the tone of the light if you like. And the way we'll do that is just go through some of the settings on the light itself on the little SmallRig LED. So now that's bringing some light in from the side, which we didn't have that ability before because we were just stuck with the sunlight, and we can make it as an intense or change the color any way we want. So let's say we wanted to go with that amber color, we could just click the button here and make it a little more amber, but we're just gonna go with white. We'll deal with all that stuff afterwards in Lightroom, where we can control the actual color that we're gonna do. So we like that, but let's go ahead and add some of that fill light. So let's grab another one. Now in my kit, I have 3 of these. You can buy as many as you want. They're about $50 a piece. So it depends on how much you want to spend. You can get by with one if you prefer. And one of the things that's kind of cool about these lights is, of course, if you want to dim them, it has a little zoom effect that actually is for zooming the light to a smaller beam. But when you have this dome on it, it just cuts the light a little bit. So that's kind of a cool feature that you can actually tone down the light if you like. So let's go ahead and add another one. Now we can see that in the frame, so we don't want to see that. So let's go ahead and bring that a little bit lower. Make sure it's not in the shot. There we go. So now what we've done is we've taken two lights that we've added, and now we have a kind of quite a bit different scene. So let's go ahead and take a shot of that and see how this looks. We'll do about 100 shots here. And again, we're doing our focus stacking, so we'll just stack these all up and look at them later in Lightroom. But you know, for now, what we've done is we've added some additional light into this shot. In fact, our sun is starting to go down a little bit. So, you know, it'll allow us to work out here a little longer because of the bringing our own lights. And we're just lighting up a small section of this forest, right? We're not lighting up tons of it. We're just lighting up a little bit of it. And whatever ambient light is already set, then that's going to capture any of the background. It's going to be out of focus, but that background area is going to be lit somewhat by the ambient light. So usually what I do in terms of exposure is I'll set up doing a shot with the ambient light, kind of like the way we started. But then what I'll do is I'll add these lights and adjust the exposure as needed so that we can kind of blend this a little bit better. We're kind of blend these LED lights into the natural light that's coming from the sky. And in our case, we're getting sun that's coming through here. We also have some blue sky behind us that's reflecting this light, so it's a softer light. And as you know, when you're ever in the shade, it's more of a blue light. So you need to correct for that in your camera to make sure that you're shooting probably on shade mode or cloudy mode, so it'll warm it up a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to color balance it later on in Lightroom. And these lights last a pretty good time, you know, several hours that you can work out here without them going dead. And they charge up with USB-C, and I think they're pretty good. And of course, SmallRig didn't send these to me. I bought these on my own, and this is my own review of how I like working with them. All right, so now we've done our shot here that is with the LED light. So that's an option for you. We've got the available light, and now we've got LED light that we can do. So another thing I like to bring with me is a rag, because these are stuck in the mud and we just don't want to put that mud back in our camera bag. So I have a rag that we can wipe that off with. I also bring an atomizer or a bottle that has some water in it, so I can put some water droplets on the image. So let me show you what that looks like. So let's come in here and we'll just add a little bit of fresh water to our image. And this gives that kind of light dewy look, moisture. You know, we're here after it rained, but of course things have started drying up just a little bit. And we have the ability to pump in a little bit of water, a little bit of moisture into this shot. Makes the mushrooms look even a little fresher. Let me do a shot at a narrow aperture so you can see the difference of a focus stack versus a shot that's done with the regular way that you do it, with just extending your aperture to try to get more depth of field. So now let me show you the last way that we can do some photography outside with macro and a different style of lighting that you may or may not have seen. Now, if you like this kind of content, hit that like button. Then remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon to be reminded of my next video. For this system here, we're going to use available light just like we did with the first shot. But I've attached a ring light. Now, this is made by Nissan, and it's more expensive than the LED lights. You're going to look at probably $500 to buy this one. Now, you can buy ring lights cheaper, but I like this one because it has a little bit of variance. You can pop out the sides so it comes in from a little bit wider angle. It attaches right to the front of your lens with a bracket. And then of course you have all your controls up here. It comes up to a center that actually you can control how much light you want to have put in the shot. So now that we've got the ring light set up, we've got the controller here, and we can control how much light we want out of each side of these lights. You can also rotate this and have it come from top and bottom, but we're just going to have it from side to side to add some fill light into this shot. Now, in my first test shot here, I can see that we've got too much fill. So I want to do a couple things. Probably the easiest thing is to probably make the background up a little brighter. So we're just going to go from a 25th of a second up to a 13th of a second. Let's try that and see how that looks. So that's quite a bit better. That's getting our exposure about where we want it. Let's try another one. Let's take a look. That's pretty good. Just a little bit of a shadow, but this is way faster. You know, you're able to hook up a ring light to this, and you can shoot tiny things, large things, and getting that fill light right from the front of the lens. It really works pretty swell. So let's go ahead and set up and do a shot. Remember, if you're in the Z9 and you've got it on silent mode, it won't fire the flash. So you got to turn it off silent mode in order to fire the flash. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Let's go ahead and start it. This works off of some AA batteries that are rechargeable, obviously, and you can get a ton of flashes off of this, so you really don't have to worry too much about anything in terms of your lighting. You can go all day probably with just 4 batteries in this thing. Because remember, we're close and we're just adding a little tick of light. We're not adding a ton of light. We're not adding it as if we were lighting up the, the whole room. We're only lighting up a 1.5 foot. We want this flash to go. And we're going to be just filling the front end of these mushrooms, right? So we still have our daylight that's coming in a little bit from behind as well as from over here, but this is just going to fill in a little bit of that light. And if you're ever shooting moving objects like insects or something, a ring light is really good, because if that insect decides to move, the ring light's going to capture it because it's firing pretty fast. I don't know how fast exactly this is firing up, probably like a 20,000th of a second, 10,000th of a second, something like that. So it'll stop motion just about anything that you shoot for the most part. So obviously that's a one-shot thing. You're not focus stacking that way, but you can focus stack with the ring light, and it works really well because you're just telling it, yeah, just keep shoot. And again, here we're doing 100, no issue at all for this ring light to pop out 100 flashes and fill in that light in front of those mushrooms as well as underneath just a little bit. So it seems to work as good as any. Now this is more expensive. It's about $500 for a ring light, but it's a little more versatile than some of the other lights. And obviously it's way faster to set up a ring light and start shooting and adding that fill light that you're looking for. In some cases, you can go into Lightroom and you can, improve the fill light a little bit by boosting the shadows. But in this case, it's pretty fast. And what's nice about this is this allows you to all you have to do is you don't need the cable release anymore. You just have the camera and the ring light. And of course, like I said, you can have it from top to bottom if you like, but you just set your camera on something that you would normally be shooting, maybe at handheld at like an 80th of a second or 100th of a second. And then when you're shooting, you can just do, regular flash photography. And this really just has really great light for surrounding whatever it is you're doing. So it's a pretty good way to go when you're working with different types of lighting. You definitely need to have a tripod. That's a must. A cable release, I think, is a must, although you could put it on self-timer and not have to deal with it. You need a macro lens, of course. And start with available light. Maybe use some reflector cards if you like. And then maybe you want to graduate up to either the LED lights or the ring lights, or in my case, both. Let me know in the comments what kind of lighting you like. Do you like the available light where maybe we add a little bit of light with reflector cards? Or do you prefer the ring light that's going to be really simple to use, it's fast, and a lot less stuff that you got to bring with you? Or do you want to try those LED lights? Those are pretty cool if you want to try the LED lights. And which do you think would give you more variety when you're shooting your macro shots? And don't forget, this time of year is perfect for going out and looking for mushrooms. Now, if you're in a snowy area, wait till spring, but they'll pop out as well, and you'll have a chance to shoot some really cool subjects that don't run away from you, and it makes it a lot of fun. See you next time.